It's Tim was talking to Michael. So when we wrote the script, we were like, we really have an audience of two. It's Tim and Michael. So I think once we had the script and we'd gone through a couple rounds with Tim, and he had a draft he felt really good about, he sent it to Michael. And
so you guys wrote it before even Michael was on board.
Yes. Tim, like I said, Tim had been having conversations with him, but he hadn't read the script, and he could have said no. And he was very complimentary of the script, and really liked it. And we got a lovely email from him. So we were like, there's three emotions in show business: depression, surprise, and relief. And we were relieved. So yeah, we were relieved.
Well, speaking of Michael Keaton, I wondered watching the film, he seems to be improvising a lot. I suspect he's not. And I just wonder if there is room with an actor like that, a character like that, if there is room for improvisation, and how you write around that.
The answer is there is room for improvisation. We wrote it because the character he created with Tim in the first movie, which, by the way, we went back and read the Beetlejuice shooting script, and that character, in terms of there's a Beetlejuice in it, obviously, but that voice was really something that Michael and Tim created on set, the whole look and the thing. So the good news is he's such a classic specific character, is we were able to write to that voice. And we always treated Beetlejuice as an agent of chaos, which is what he is in the movie. So and the thing that we were all cognizant of, Michael probably the most, was you don't want him in too much of the movie. A little Beetlejuice can go a long way. You don't want it to, and I think because of that, when he's on screen, he's that much more impactful.
Right. Well, he's not actually the main character of the film, either film. He's sort of the hardest working supporting character, I would say. I'm wondering if there are specific jokes, not to spoil anything too much, but are there specific visual gags or jokes that you wish could have made it to the final edit? Like things that you wrote into the script that sadly got lost, goofy stuff.
It's funny. I'm sure there are, and I can't remember any at the moment.
Well, there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we're really sort of thrilled with how the movie, turned out, and we haven't, destroyed people's childhood memories. That was always the big fear.
That's a good thing. Hey, what I wonder, because how much of this must have felt like this grand reunion, right, of bringing back so many people who had obviously worked on the original, like what it was like on the set?
Well, we weren't on the set because, unfortunately, it was during the writer's strike, so we couldn't go. So, which by the way, sucked.
That's a bummer. Yeah.
Wow. That sucked. Wow. But I think it was, certainly for Michael and Winona and Catherine and Tim, I think it was like a family reunion. And, having spoken to all of them, obviously, after, the shooting and during this whole process leading up to it, I mean, they could not be nicer, could not be more thrilled. Their genuine love and affection for each other is really, evident. And I think for Tim, from what all accounts we heard, is he loved just being on set and making the movie.